Rumblefish is sort of a slang name for Siamese fighting fish, which is symbolic of a relationship that goes on in the film Matt Dillon and Mickey Rourke. It's the second film I did for Coppola.
Yeah.
What if the face of Hollywood elegance hid a story of unimaginable pain? At 15, Diane Lane was kidnapped by her own mother, a moment that shaped a life of silent struggles and stunning triumphs. From child star to cinematic legend, her journey is more gripping than any role she's played. Join us to uncover the heart behind the icon, a woman who turned scars into strength. What if the world saw you as a star, but you felt like a shadow? Diane Lane, one of Hollywood's most captivating actresses, lived this paradox. Her face graced magazine covers, her performances stole hearts, yet behind the glamour, her life was a tapestry of heartbreak and resilience. Born into a world of fleeting love and constant motion, she found solace in the one place where her voice was heard, the stage. This is the story of how a young girl from New York became a cinematic icon and the unseen struggles that shaped her. On January 22, 1965, Diane Lane entered the world in New York City. Born to parents whose lives were steeped in the arts. Her father, Burt Lane, was an acting coach who mentored talents like John Cassavetes, while her mother, Colleen Farrington, was a nightclub singer and former Playboy centerfold. Their marriage, however, crumbled just 13 days after Diane's birth. Colleen took her newborn daughter to Mexico, seeking a fresh start, but by the time Diane was 6, custody shifted to Burt. Back in New York, Diane's childhood was anything but stable. She lived in a series of residential hotels where creaky floors and flickering neon lights replaced the warmth of a permanent home. This transient life taught her to adapt to packlight and to find comfort in the impermanent, a skill that would later define her ability to slip into any role with ease. But what happens when a child's only constant is change? Diane found her anchor in acting. At 6, she joined the La Mama Experimental Theater Club, a haven for avant-garde performers. By 7, she was touring the globe, performing in cities like Shiraz, Tehran, and Beirut. These early experiences were a whirlwind of culture and creativity. In Paris, she bought a pet tortoise, had it blessed at Notre Dame, and carried it in a pouch, a small symbol of the stability she craved. On stage, she was free to feel, to exist without fear of being left behind. Acting wasn't just a craft, it was her sanctuary, a place where she could be seen without vanishing. At 13, Diane faced a choice that would alter her life's trajectory. She left the stage for the silver screen, landing her first film role in George Roy Hill's A Little Romance, alongside Laurence Olivier. Her performance was electric, earning her the title of the new Grace Kelly and a spot on the cover of Time magazine at just 14. Overnight, she became a sensation, her face plastered across newsstands. But fame at such a young age came with a cost. Diane later reflected, "I didn't want to be acting for that much of my childhood, so I'm conflicted. The list?" This inner turmoil hinted at a deeper struggle. How do you balance stardom with the longing for a normal life? Navigating fame wasn't easy. Diane developed a knack for compartmentalizing, pretending at school that her acting career didn't exist. Yet, the spotlight followed her. Classmates treated her differently, and teachers' expectations shifted. Isolation crept in, a silent companion to her rising star. Still, she pressed on, starring in Francis Ford Coppola's The Outsiders and Rumblefish in 1983. Her portrayal of Cherry Valance in The Outsiders was praised for its depth, capturing the angst and longing of youth. These roles solidified her as a talent to watch, a muse for a generation of dreamers and rebels. But could success on screen fill the void left by a fractured childhood? Just when it seemed she was unstoppable, the tides turned. Her next big projects, Streets of Fire and The Cotton Club, flopped at the box office. Critics were merciless, labeling her overexposed at just 19. The industry's fickle nature hit hard, and Diane felt the sting of rejection. Exhausted and questioning her path, she stepped away from Hollywood, retreating to Georgia, the same place her mother had once taken her during a tumultuous custody dispute. At 15, Diane had run away to Los Angeles with friend Christopher Atkins, seeking control in a life that felt dictated by others. Later, her mother took her to Georgia without permission, sparking a legal battle that left Diane caught between two worlds, neither feeling like home. She once said her early experiences definitely got me a seat in therapy. The Guardian, a candid admission of the toll her childhood took. In Georgia, Diane sought silence, a chance to reconnect with herself. No cameras, no scripts, just a young woman piecing together her identity. But the call of acting was too strong to ignore. She returned with a renewed sense of purpose, choosing roles that spoke to her soul. In 1987, she starred in The Big Town and Lady Beware, showing a grit that hadn't been seen before. Then came Lonesome Dove in 1989, a Western miniseries that earned her an Emmy nomination for her portrayal of Lorena Wood. This wasn't just a comeback, it was a declaration that Diane Lane was here to stay, no longer chasing fame, but telling stories that mattered. Amid her professional resurgence, Diane's personal life took a hopeful turn. In 1988, she married French actor Christopher Lambert, whom she met while promoting the Cotton Club. Their wedding in New Mexico was intimate, a quiet promise of a new beginning. In 1993, they welcomed their daughter, Eleanor, a beacon of joy in Diane's life. For the first time, she felt a sense of belonging, a family to call her own. She had spent her childhood learning that love could walk away, but with Lambert and Eleanor, it seemed she had finally found her anchor. Yet, as life often proves, even the brightest moments can cast long shadows. What challenges awaited her would test her strength in ways she never imagined. After the gentle unraveling of her marriage to Christopher Lambert, Diane Lane didn't leap back into the chaos of love. She'd tasted the wild rush of passion and seen it fade into stillness, leaving her with a daughter and a longing for something steadier. What she yearned for wasn't the spotlight's dazzle or a grand romance to sweep her off her feet. She craved a sanctuary, a hand to grip when the world grew cold, a life that didn't demand she perform. Josh Brolin stepped into that void, a man carved from the same tough cloth as Hollywood itself, his quiet strength a balm to her weary soul. They crossed paths in 2001, two survivors of fame's relentless grind, and by August 2004, they stood together in a hushed ceremony at her California ranch, pledging a future she dared to believe in. For a woman who'd known instability since childhood, it felt like a lifeline. But how fragile lifelines can be. Just 4 months later, a late-night call pierced the quiet, a plea for help that ended with Josh's arrest for alleged domestic battery. The charges dissolved quickly, brushed off as a mix-up by their team, but for Diane, the damage lingered like a bruise beneath the skin. She didn't flee. Not then. She stayed, clinging to the stubborn hope that this time, love could mend the cracks. For nearly a decade, she wore that hope like armor, stepping onto red carpets and into roles while the weight of it pressed harder each day. By 2013, the armor was too heavy to bear. She filed for divorce, her exit as graceful as ever. No venom, no public tears, just a woman stepping away from a promise that couldn't hold. But the world doesn't let a woman like Diane Lane retreat into silence. Even as she nursed the ache of another ending, whispers trailed her, soft, persistent echoes of loves that never made it to the altar. What is it about her that draws such fleeting devotion? In 1985, John Bon Jovi flickered into her life, a magnetic pull during Streets of Fire's electric nights. It wasn't a saga, just a moment of being truly seen, and it faded as quickly as it sparked. Emilio Estevez followed, a bright flame from the outsider's days when Hollywood pulsed with reckless dreams. Their laughter spilled over between takes, a tender almost that dissolved into memory. Christopher Atkins, another outsider's echo, brought a boyish warmth, a fleeting glow that reminded her she could still feel young. Matt Dillon stormed in during 1989, all intensity and shadowed eyes, a connection too fierce to outlast fame's glare. Danny Cannon met on Judge Dredd's chaotic set in 1995, offered something rarer, stillness, a bond that didn't shout but mattered all the same. Nicolas Cage, an old friend from Rumblefish, drifted closer during 2000's The Family Man, their quiet intimacy a near miss shaped by timing's cruel hand. Matthew McConaughey, decades later on Serenity's 2019 shores, confessed a childhood crush with a grin, a small gift of honesty she hadn't expected. And Robert Duvall, her lonesome Dove Rock, stirred rumors she gently dismissed, his steady presence a love of a different kind, rooted in respect. She never fed the gossip, never laid her heart bare for the tabloids. Why should she? These weren't epic tales with thunderous endings, just soft human threads woven into her life's fabric. Each man, each moment, carried weight not in its length, but in its truth. Diane didn't chase permanence. She measured love by the way it stirred her, however briefly. In a world that demanded her every secret, she held these close, her silence a defiant shield. Can you hear the strength in what she doesn't say? It's there, in the way she moved forward, carrying the imprints of those quiet collisions without letting them define her. Through every fracture, Diane Lane stood taller, not broken, but reshaped. She'd learned love's sharp edges, its gentle lessons, and the courage it takes to release what can't stay. Walking away from Josh, she didn't just shed a marriage. She reclaimed a piece of herself, a realization forged in years of hoping against hope. That wisdom bled into her work, painting her performances with colors only pain and resilience can mix. In Unfaithful, 2002, she bared a soul caught between longing and duty, earning an Oscar nod for a portrayal critics called achingly real, Roger Ebert. In Under the Tuscan Sun, 2003, she became a woman piecing herself back together, a mirror to her own quiet rebirth. These weren't just roles, they were her story, refracted through fiction, a way to heal what she wouldn't voice aloud. Love for Diane Lane has been a quiet battlefield where victories were hard-won and losses lingered like echoes. Her heart, once open to the promise of forever, learned to guard itself, not out of bitterness, but wisdom. Among the names tied to her story, Richard Gere stands out, not for scandal, but for a rare, unspoken bond. Their shared moments in the Cotton Club in 1984 and Unfaithful in 2002 ignited whispers of something deeper. Their chemistry was electric, a dance of glances and silences that felt too real to be just acting. Fans wondered, could there be more? Diane, ever graceful, addressed the speculation with a smile, saying their connection was built on mutual respect, not romance. The talks. Richard echoed her, praising their trust. Their restraint made their bond timeless, a connection that didn't need to be claimed to be cherished. Isn't it rare to find such understanding in Hollywood's glare? Now, at 60, Diane has rewritten her story, choosing solitude over the chaos of love. She resides in Los Angeles, her home a haven of gardens, books, and quiet moments she once feared, but now embraces. This stillness is her rebellion against a life of constant motion. Her daughter Eleanor remains her anchor, their bond a lifeline through years of triumphs and trials. Diane once shared how motherhood reshaped her grief, teaching her to carry pain for two, the guardian. Their laughter, from teenage embarrassments to red carpet walks, is a testament to healing. What does it take to build a legacy that outlasts heartbreak? For Diane, it's this quiet, fierce love that defines her now. Her career, too, reflects this evolution. No longer chasing fame, Diane selects roles that mirror her depth. In 2024, she captivated audiences as Slim Keith in Feud, Capote versus the Swans, earning a Primetime Emmy nomination for her nuanced portrayal of a betrayed socialite, AP News. She lent her voice to Inside Out 2, bringing warmth to Riley's mother, and joined Netflix's A Man in Full. Her upcoming thriller, Anniversary, set for 2025, promises another showcase of her versatility, Wikipedia. These choices reveal a woman who works on her terms, drawing viewers into stories that resonate with her own journey. Can a single role capture a lifetime of resilience? Diane's financial success mirrors her professional savvy. With an estimated net worth of $40 million, she has built a fortune through strategic role choices and prudent investments. Celebrity net worth. She owns real estate in Los Angeles, likely including her primary residence, a testament to her roots in California's elite circles, urban splatter. While details of luxury cars, high-end watches, or private jets remain private, her lifestyle suggests a taste for understated elegance, perhaps a sleek Mercedes or a classic Rolex, common among Hollywood's elite. Brand deals like her past work with Neutrogena and potential investments in film projects or real estate bolster her wealth. Celebs line. Standard for her stature, insurance policies for health and assets ensure her security. Her financial lesson? Balance passion with pragmatism, choosing roles that sustain both heart and wealth. Looking back, Diane's journey is a study in transformation. As a teen, she was Hollywood's darling, gracing Time magazine's cover at 14 after A Little Romance. Her early roles in The Outsiders and Rumblefish marked her as a star, but setbacks like Streets of Fire's failure tested her resolve. Today, she's a beacon of authenticity, no longer defined by youth or beauty, but by depth and choice. Her past taught her to value stillness, a lesson that shines in her selective career and private life. She's not just surviving Hollywood's aging curve, she's redefining it, proving talent endures beyond the spotlight's glare. Diane Lane's story is one of quiet triumph. She's faced instability, heartbreak, and the weight of fame, yet emerged with grace intact. Her life isn't a loud spectacle, but a testament to resilience, authenticity, and the courage to choose herself.
Diane Lane's story isn't just a Hollywood tale. It's a human one, woven with threads of heartache, courage, and quiet defiance. From a childhood spent in fleeting homes where love seemed to slip through her fingers, to the dazzling heights of stardom, she's carried a weight most never see. At 6, she found her voice on stage, a sanctuary from the chaos of hotel rooms and fractured family ties. By 14, she was gracing Time magazine, hailed as the next Grace Kelly after A Little Romance. Yet behind the spotlight, she faced personal battles, custody disputes, fleeting romances, and 2 marriages that promised forever but faded into silence. Her heartbreaks didn't make headlines, but they shaped her, teaching her that love's truest form might be the one she gives herself. Can a life so public ever find private peace? Diane answered that question by choosing stillness, crafting a life in Los Angeles surrounded by gardens, books, and her daughter, Eleanor, her greatest anchor. Her career, too, reflects this evolution. From the raw intensity of Unfaithful to the elegant restraint of Feud, Capote versus the Swans, she's chosen roles that mirror her depth, earning accolades like a 2024 Emmy nomination without chasing fame's fleeting glow. Her $40 million net worth, built through strategic choices in real estate, speaks to a woman who balances passion with pragmatism, a lesson in longevity for us all.
But what makes Diane's story linger? It's her refusal to let pain define her. She's not just an actress who survived Hollywood's glare, she's a woman who redefined it, proving that grace and strength can coexist. Her bond with Richard Gere, a chemistry that sparked rumors but thrived on respect, reminds us that some connections are powerful because they remain unspoken. Her journey from a child star to a 60-year-old icon shows that authenticity outshines applause. So, what part of Diane's story speaks to you? Maybe it's a role that moved you, like her heart-wrenching turn in Under the Tuscan Sun. Or perhaps it's her quiet resilience that resonates. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's share the moments that make her unforgettable. And if you've been touched by this journey, give this video a like to keep her story alive, and hit that subscribe button to join us for more tales of the stars who shape our hearts. Next time, we're diving into another legend's life, uncovering secrets and triumphs that will leave you speechless. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. Diane Lane didn't just act in films, she lived a story that teaches us all to keep standing, to keep believing, even when the lights dim. Her legacy? A reminder that the truest stars shine not for the world, but for themselves, lighting a path for those who dare to follow their own.